Hi everybody, welcome back to the Academy. I'm Jeff Pinkman. I am the owner of the Pinkman Baseball Academy. And first I'd like to thank all those who are joining us. Nate Spinks, thank you for joining. You are not allowed to unjoin, or you're not allowed to turn me off now that I've actually seen you on. Nate's actually one of my students and he always pops on. I only come to find that he's actually turned it off when he comes in for a lesson on Wednesday. So. But today I'd like to talk a little bit about the mental approach in terms of mound management skills and the way pitchers can actually help control the tempo of the game, whether they be baseball players or softball players. And but first, please check us out at pinkmanbaseball.com. You can find us on Twitter at pinkmanbaseball. You can check us out on Facebook, and we have now revived our Instagram account. So please visit those sites and see what other types of information we might be able to share with you and help you out with over the course of the next few days or the oncoming weeks. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about what pitchers can be doing on the mound to help themselves control the game better, control the tempo better. And those three aspects really are controlling the time from when pitchers grab the ball to when they come set, the time from when they actually come set to when they pitch the ball, and where on the mound they're setting up so that they can assist themselves in utilizing the width of the pitching rubber, the angles, and the trajectories in which they're throwing the ball from. So first I want to talk about the time to set position. And we see pitchers all the time, whether they are Little League pitchers, high school pitchers, college pitchers, professional pitchers. They consistently want to grab the ball, walk straight back up on the mound, step on the rubber, take a deep breath, and then get back to work. And one of the things that pitchers can, as coaches, we can help players do is learn to control that tempo a little bit more. And it can be something simple as having them get the ball back, and if one pitch they grab the ball, they walk straight back to the pitching rubber, they get up, they whether there are runners on or not, they're able to check, step on the rubber, get their signals, check the runners, come set, and then pitch. That is one method, and typically coaches try to settle pitchers down. They try to help them out, say, hey, slow down, take a deep breath, step off the rubber. But another way that we can help pitchers out and do that is having them walk around the pitching mound so that it takes them a little bit more time. Another way to help them out is to have the catcher step out in front of home plate, have them toss the ball back, or even have those catchers walk out into the pitching mound to just kind of take a brief second or a moment to have them say, hey, you know what, with this next batter, let's make sure that we're setting up inside. We want to throw the ball up or down. Let's get back to work. So changing up that tempo from when they make that pitch to when they get the ball back is really going to help players understand that they don't have to consistently rush and rush and rush simply because they have the ball. One of the beautiful things about the game of baseball is that there is no clock. While there is a clock of time from when the game begins to when it ends, in between there is no shot clock. There is no time frame in which a pitcher has to throw the ball. The umpire might kind of nudge them, say, "Hey, let's go. Let's continue on. Let's hurry up the pace here." But for the most part, the more a pitcher can take his time, and whether he's going to walk straight back to the pitching rubber, walk to the left side of the pitching rubber, walk to the right side of the pitching rubber, walk totally around it, stand on the back side of the pitching rubber or on the grass, and take a deep breath, take off his hat, wipe the sweat from his brow, check if his uniform is tucked in, make sure that he is prepared and ready to go before he actually steps back up on the pitching rubber. Normally, as the season gets underway, with the weather, the pitching mound tends to be the hottest place simply because it's a big bump of dirt versus standing on the grass where it can be nice and cool and calming. And so having pitchers step off onto the grass and not stay on the pitching rubber full time is something that you can encourage your ball players to do. And now, granted, in my message earlier, at the beginning, I mentioned this to softball players as well. And unfortunately, there is no grass on softball, but, stepping outside of the circle, stepping away from the pitching rubber to take a deep breath, turning their back away from the batter or the catcher or the umpire is something that they can do just to kind of help remove themselves for a brief second. And they can vary those times from when they receive the ball back to when they actually begin to step back on the pitching rubber to begin the process of preparing to throw the ball. So we have our time to set position there, all right? And whether that is 1 second from the time they get the ball back, you see pitchers rush right back up to the mound, or they take a few more seconds, 3 seconds, or 5 seconds, or 10 seconds to get back on the rubber. You'll find that pitchers can be much more relaxed and much more at ease when they're able to take time and vary those times. Not only will it help the pitcher out, but it also affects the batter. If pitchers can take that time, batters, they get jumpy, they get edgy, they want to step right back in the box, they want pitchers to throw the ball, and the longer a pitcher can take, or the more varied of times a pitcher can take to actually throw the ball, the more inconsistent the batter's routine will be, therefore throwing off his timing and throwing off his comfort in terms of trying to get back in the batter's box. So next we have the time from when we come set to the time when we actually then throw the ball. We call this time to set. And so what we're referring to is that after a pitcher gets his signal, okay, we're able to then come set and take a brief moment. A lot of pitchers, if you take a stopwatch to them, from the time when they actually, I'll turn my body here, from the time I actually come set to then when I actually lift my leg up and begin to throw the ball, you can take a stopwatch to somebody and say, you know what, they come set 1001, 1002, and then they lift and throw. And that way, what you're going to be able to find is that pitchers will consistently stay within that same time frame. And if pitchers are always coming set and waiting 1001, 1002, and then pitch the ball, batters can then rely on them, runners can then rely on them as a human stopwatch, so that they can feel comfortable knowing when pitchers are likely to throw the ball, so they can be more prepared when they are in the batter's box or even taking their leads on first base or second base in terms of wanting to either steal a base or wanting to get an extended lead. So what we want to do is present the theory, or not a theory, but the opportunity for players to say, you know what, as I come set, I'm going to wait 1001, and then I lift and throw the ball. I get the ball back, I come set, I count 1001, 1002, 1003, and then I lift and throw the ball. Next, I get the ball back and I count 1001, 1005, lift and throw the ball. And the more pitchers can actually vary the time from when they throw, from 1 second to 3 seconds to 5 seconds, and whether it be 1 second to 5 seconds, 1 second to 3 seconds, 1 second, 1 second, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 1 second, you're going to find that they become more unpredictable in terms of what the batter is expecting and also when the runner is expecting. We hear travel ball players come in and say that their coaches want them to, as soon as a guy gets on first base, they just want them to throw from the slide step. And the main reason is because they're, the time from when they lift their leg up to the time when the ball gets to home plate, they're not able to be as quick. And so they're thinking that the slide step will help them be faster to home plate. So what we've done is we've helped players gain a better understanding of when they come set, they are in control of when they throw the ball, and therefore they're also going to be in control of the runner and when he takes off, and the batter of when he wants to swing. So if you can make your timing a little more unpredictable, and a 1 second wait and then pitch, and then a 5 second wait and then pitch, then you're going to be able to disrupt the batter's timing, disrupt the hitter's the runner's timing, And you're going to give them a better the pitchers a better opportunity to feel in control of their game, feel in control of their tempo, and know that when they're ready to pitch, that they can pitch. So controlling that time from set is just as important as from when pitchers get the ball to time to their set position. So lastly, I want to talk about where pitchers are lining up in their set position. And we see so many players not really having an idea of where they want to be standing. And behind me here, I actually have a pitching rubber, and this is a major league size pitching rubber. And so many times we see players, they come up and they're standing right here in the middle of the pitching rubber. And when they go to throw the ball, they can't understand why pitches aren't moving, why their four-seam or their two-seam fastballs are flat, or why they consistently throw to one side of the pitching rubber. We see a lot of right-handed pitchers stand on the left side of the pitching rubber, mainly because when they go to throw the ball, they tend to throw the ball much straighter this way. We see left-handed pitchers stand on the far right side of the pitching rubber for that very same reason. And one thing that we want to, the question that we want to pose is, well, why do you want to throw the ball as a pitcher as straight as possible, knowing that the batter also wants you to throw the ball as straight as possible? And so if you take the width of the pitching rubber, and while a major league pitching rubber is going to be roughly 22 inches wide, a little league pitching rubber is going to be 18 inches wide. Now you're giving players, whether they're left-handed, having them stand on the left side of the pitching rubber. Now as they're throwing the ball, you can see how my hand is out of the screen, but now as the ball comes in, the ball is actually going to move inward. If I'm throwing the ball inside, I gain a lot more movement from left to right across the home plate. If I'm right-handed and I stand on the far right side of the pitching rubber as I throw the ball, I'm going to gain a lot more movement from right side to left side just by throwing my four-seam fastballs. If I'm throwing two-seam fastballs and I'm standing on one side of the rubber or the other, I'm also going to have the capability to add a little bit more movement or a little bit more run to those pitches, and therefore increasing the difficulty for batters to actually get a good read. Four-seam fastballs look like they have a lot more movement when you're throwing outside pitches as a right-handed batter and standing on the right side of the pitching rubber. Same thing for left-handed pitchers. Their four-seamers and two-seamers seem like they have a lot more movement as they come through. So by having players stand on various sides of the pitching rubber, you're going to add difficulty from the batter's perspective in terms of having them understand where the ball is coming from and how the ball is approaching. And you'll find that pitchers, while it may take a little bit of time for them to get adjusted, having them practice on this in their bullpens, having them practice on this in practice and at home, it's going to give them a lot more comfort in terms of knowing that they can throw the ball from each side of the pitching rubber. So again, to recap, we have 3 ideas and 3 thoughts to help your pitchers become more mentally prepared in control of their game. We have the time to set position, in which we're going to be walking around the rubber, not just kind of lazy-like, but giving them a plan of what they want to accomplish after they throw a pitch. We're having a time to set position, so that as players are able to get their signals, they come set, they're given a specific amount of time to vary their time so that they can then throw the ball. And then giving them different sides of the pitching rubber to stand on can also help improve them in terms of giving them that advantage. Having right-handers stand on the far right side of the rubber makes it look more intimidating to right-handed batters. Having left-handed hit pitchers stand on the left side of the rubber is a little more intimidating to left-handed batters. So that's what we got for today. I want to thank you very much for joining us. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at info@pinkman.us. Feel free to tweet us or follow us at Pinkman Baseball on Twitter. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. So thank you very much, and we hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining the Academy. Take care.